Hey, what is up? Welcome to the baseball show on Drinkin' Bros Sports. I am your host, Rob Fox. And if you haven't done it already, like and subscribe to the YouTube page. If you're listening on audio, just go over to YouTube, Drinkin' Bros Sports. This is where you'll find not only the baseball show, obviously, but also all the football shit that's coming up, college and pro.
A lot of stuff.
Coming back. I'm joined, as always, by Dan Holloway. Getting into the shit.
Yeah, this is... baseball season is getting to that point where it starts to become interesting for pretty much everybody, right? So middle of the season, guy goes on a hot streak or a team goes on a hot streak or something like Shohei Ohtani's happening, something like that. I mean, I guess that's always pretty entertaining, but usually the June, July period of baseball can be pretty rough, right? I mean, for the casual fan to stay informed but not be inundated, there's still 15 baseball games a day. You know what I mean? That's a lot of fucking baseball.
I love baseball. It's my co-favorite sport along with college football, but I probably in my soul love baseball a little more. I certainly feel more attached to baseball emotionally. But yeah, dude, basically my baseball watching my whole life has been 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off, depending how good the team is. You know what I mean? You just need a break. My wife was complaining the other day. She was like, "Is there another baseball game on?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Is it every day?" And I was like, "Were you born here?"
Yeah. That's a weird. Where's she from originally?
Dallas.
There's no excuse for this.
I know. I was like, "What do you?"
Whether you're a baseball fan or not.
It's like, what do you think happens in this sport?
Jesus.
She was like, "How many games are there?" I was like, 162. She was like, "That's too many."
I agree with that, actually. But yeah, it's baseball season starting to get exciting. This race between the Braves and everybody else in the National League has been interesting. The Yankees turning it on. I mean, I guess part of it is getting healthy again, but turning it on, and the Red Sox completely falling out of the picture.
Yeah.
Same thing I suppose to a lesser degree is happening with San Diego and LA right now.
I'd say actually to a greater degree is happening with San Diego.
Well, I mean, look, they're falling faster, but that's the second and third place teams in that division, not the first and second place team.
Yeah.
But I guess now it is the same way for the American League because Tampa Bay is in first now pretty comfortably. I guess they ran by the Red Sox first. But the Yankees have been interesting lately. They're on an 11-game win streak, and that is what it is, right? I mean, that's certainly there's no question that that's impressive, and I don't want to take anything away from that. I think it's interesting the way that it's happened. They still have a pretty shitty starting rotation.
Yeah,
I would say
one great starting pitcher and one reliable guy in Montgomery, and then everyone else is just dog shit.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean that fuck's his name? Talion. Since the break has been pretty good. He's like 5-0, mostly quality starts. I think his ERA is somewhere around fucking. I think it's in the mid to high twos since July, something like that.
Okay.
So he's come on. That's certainly helped. But I think the real improvement, and I didn't notice it until I saw them play the Braves this week, and there's another game tonight, obviously, but the bullpen is very good there.
No, they're done with the Braves.
Oh no, the Braves have moved on. Yeah, right. The bullpen is good with the Yankees. Now Chapman has struggled this year to some degree. It's been hit or miss with him.
He has always kind of had a bigger reputation than.
Well, when you throw
numbers.
103 miles per hour, you get that reputation. Right?
Yeah, because it always drove me crazy back in the day when it was him with the Reds and Kimbrel with the Braves, and they were like, "Oh, like Aroldis Chapman." I always felt like he got more press, and I was like, Kimbrel has the better numbers, like by a fair margin. It's just that Chapman, hits a fucking 103 because he's a giant, like tree trunk legs and a fucking dump truck ass. Like,
he's got a nice butt.
Yeah,
there's no question about that. I think if anything we learned from today's show, it's that. That he's got a great butt, and that's how you throw fastballs, right? Great butts? I don't know.
Pretty much great butts. But you're right. His numbers are fucked, dude. Like his expected ERA is 4.63.
Yeah, like this year's been tough for him, for sure. And you're right. I don't know. He started to come on as of late. Since over the last 30 days, 2.45 ERA, which is way better, right? Obviously, I don't know what his WHIP is in that time frame. That's more important in a lot of for relievers. I would say WHIP is probably more important. But the last 30 days, he was on a pretty good run, and then about a week ago, he had a bad game. That's just ERA stuff, though. That's not a big deal. I mean, he's still saving games. I feel like right now, if he's able to pitch at 80% of his talent level, like give you that, like for the most of the time, you're going to get a save out of him.
Yeah.
They're going to be. They could very well be a dangerous playoff team. Chad Green is having a very, very good year in the bullpen. He's got a .86 fucking WHIP. As a reliever, he's got a 1.9 wins above replacement. That's pretty impressive.
Last year, like we talk about, like, oh, they don't have a fucking rotation, whatever. Last year, the Braves were a game away from the World Series with one starting pitcher who was a fucking 22-year-old who could barely grow a mustache, and then a rookie who just had a nice month.
Yeah.
It was all lineup and bullpen, and that's the way the Yankees lined up. Because that lineup, speaking of just having watched them in person, the lineup's goddamned insane.
Yeah.
Like Anthony Rizzo, Joey Gallo, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, and Luke Voit. Those are all dudes who could go for 30 homers plus in a year. Those are all dudes who, on a great year, could do 40 to 50 plus. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's over 50% of your lineup.
Right.
And then you're rounding that out with Urshela and Gleyber Torres.
Yeah, and then
it's
you've got Garrett Cole at the top, and you've got Montgomery. He's done well, and this other kid, Jamison Talon. I don't even know how you say his name.
Whatever the fuck.
But he's come on as of late, and you're looking at the bullpen. Obviously, you're going to depend to some degree on Aroldis Chapman as your closer, right? Certainly, that's the case, and he's had his ups and downs, and we'll see whether or not he gets locked in. But
I'm not super fucking concerned with like he's Aroldis Chapman, right? So I'm not super concerned with like how his May and June statistics translate to October,
because it's about crunch time for those guys,
right?
Right. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. It's certainly more about how you finish than how you begin when you're a closer like that. And then I look at him, and I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking high intensity situations. Historically, he's been pretty good. So you should expect that to happen again this year, unless there's an injury or maybe he gets the yips, but you can't predict for that.
Yeah.
Chad Green, 75 strikeouts in 65 innings, .86 WHIP, and their other primary reliever here, Jonathan Loaisiga, who I saw pitch against the Braves. 17 holds, by the way, 16 for Chad Green. 62 innings pitched, 62 strikeouts. These are and a 1.05 WHIP. These are guys who don't give up base runners and who are power pitchers to strike people out. And you have 3 of them in a row.
Yeah.
And that is a problem. We've talked about this. It's why I think the White Sox have a very good chance of winning the World Series, because they can turn any game into at least a 7, if not a 6-inning game, right? So these guys now legitimately have the opportunity, if these relief pitchers keep pitching that way. If Chapman just is a threat to pitch well, you've turned that into a fucking 7 or 6-inning ball game with a murderer's row lineup, right? The Yankees are all of a sudden, with the improvement that their bullpen has seen over the last couple of months, and the run that their offense is now healthy again, right? That you're seeing, all of a sudden that is a very interesting team.
The American League playoffs are going to be a bloodbath.
Oh yeah.
Like in the National League, I look at it and it's like whoever wins the East. Like I love the Braves and I'm rooting for the Braves, but that's a very flawed team. The Brewers don't scare me at all.
No.
And then you got the Giants and Dodgers, who are the only 2 teams to me that I look at. And even the Giants, I know they're really good, but I still look at them and I'm like, I don't know. Like the National League feels really soft and really wide open this year. The American League, I don't know who's going to fucking do that, because nobody even talks about the Astros, who are just like silently fucking good, and like really fucking good.
Yeah.
And then what do you got to deal with, like the White Sox, who we think might be is probably our World Series favorite right now, and then the Yankees, and then the Rays, who are always just brilliant. Like it's a bloodbath. And then like what, in the wild card game you catch I don't know, whoever loses the East and then like an A's team that's good. I assume the A's will be a sacrificial lamb in the wild card game as
they want to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on if. Technically speaking, I think Boston is still in the spot for that other wild card. Right?
Let me check that shit.
They've got 72 wins. New York's got 74. Oakland only has 70. I mean, it's
You're right.
really close.
So Boston's still in there.
Technically, but Boston is on such a free fall right now. I don't know what's going to happen. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They've won 2 in a row.
Yeah.
We'll see how that turns around. But yeah, you're right. I think
They just got Chris Sale back.
it's. I don't know what Oakland's. I don't know what Oakland's schedule looks like going towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
So we can look at that and see which West teams are going to be playing. Because if it's the Mariners and the Angels and the Rangers, then they got a pretty good shot at fucking making up some ground. And they are also very good in September, historically
The
speaking.
Mariners are only a game behind the A's, only 3 games behind the Red Sox.
Yeah, the Mariners, man, they blew that team up for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that drives me crazy. Adam Ray fucking texted me that morning when they started making those trades. He goes, "Dude, what the fuck? People are pissed." I'm like, "Yeah, that was a weird move."
Yeah, very
That was
weird.
an extremely weird move.
Dude, the Mariners just took 2 or 3 from the Blue Jays, swept the Rangers, lost
They
2.
swept the A's, didn't they?
Yeah, in a 2-game series.
Oh, 2 games. That doesn't count as a sweep.
And then, I mean, they lost 2 or 3 to the Astros, but that's fine. Oh, they got killed by the Astros. But still, I mean, and then they lost 3 in a row to the Yankees. But the 3 or 4 to the Yankees. I'll tell you what, man.
Their September's kind of rough. They got Toronto to begin, then Chicago. Texas sucks. Kansas City sucks. Angels, if you run into Ohtani, you might have an issue. But then they have Seattle, Houston. That's
Who, the A's?
Yeah.
That's brutal
Yeah.
last little bit
That's-
of the schedule.
that's
but,
rough.
But that's not that brutal in so much as, I guess, it's not necessarily brutal as it could be opportunistic because the A's, if they're concerned about the division, they're only 5
they can
games
make
out.
up ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather have that schedule, frankly, than have Tampa Bay, Boston, and Toronto on my schedule like that.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah. Or like, I mean, dude, in September, I think the Braves catch the Giants twice and the Dodgers or something stupid like that. Or I'd rather just be playing in division teams, not even because they suck, because a lot of the teams suck. Just if I was in 3rd place, I'd want to be playing the Phillies and the Mets, not other teams.
Yeah. I agree with that.
But yeah, I mean, the Yankees to me right now, that, anything can happen in October. Where would you right now handicap this team of the 4 like best teams in the American League? Because they are one of the 4 best teams record wise in the American League right now.
You're talking about the Yankees?
Yeah.
Like, where would I rank them?
Out of the Rays, Yankees, Astros, and White Sox.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would probably put them 3rd behind the White Sox and Astros. And I just don't believe in the Rays.
I'm getting big regular season vibes out of the Rays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they took every advantage they could, and in over 162 games, right? They made all the statistics work. But do I believe in them in a 5 or 7 game series? Not so fucking much.
Yeah, I don't think so. But that team, you never know. They're good at manufacturing things. So who knows?
Yeah.
If it comes down to a war of attrition, then they might have a decent shot. But even if they just end up in the division series with the Yankees, for example, that's going to be a fucking problem for them, I think. I mean, I think the Yankees would light them up in a short series like that. In a 3-game series, who knows? Anything can happen in a 3-game series, but when you have power like that, it usually helps. You know what I mean? To be able to score runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be accurate. Although, ask me again in a week, because if they continue, if you see Chapman get hot, like goalies and I mean like closers get hot. If you see him get hot, then I would say I would put Yankees at number 1, to be honest, because that offense is fucking light years away from everybody else.
It's obscene.
Even the Dodgers. I think it's even better than the Dodgers, frankly.
That's a big one.
Their rate stats wouldn't be as good as the Dodgers, but I think their run scoring capability would be better.
Yeah, I mean the Dodgers, the Yankees seem more of a knife to the heart type of offense, where like a quick strike, whereas the Dodgers just grind you into submission.
Yeah, there's certainly no easy outs anywhere up and down that lineup. Although I'm not entirely sure there are in the fucking Yankees lineup either.
I mean, I feel like the Yankees are. It's the type of thing. I mean, they're power hitters, so it's the type of thing where even though all those guys are smart, it's the type of thing where you still might strike them out 2 or 3 times a game.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, for sure.
Whereas the Dodgers, it's like, you got 2 outs and you feel like you're cruising through the inning, then all of a sudden there's 2 dudes on second and third because like they walk 2 guys and there's a wild pitch.
Right.
Like that is the Dodgers to me. Like there's 2 outs, you feel like the inning's going really well. You're like, fuck, you were gonna get through this 4th inning really great. And then all of the fucking sudden, there's 2 walks on like 10 pitches. And like the pitchers are close to, but the Dodgers are robots and just won't fucking swing at them.
There's not a lot of margin for error there, no.
No.
You certainly have to play your game, but so do they. The difference is their game is low risk, high reward, right? But
Yeah.
it only works over a certain amount of time. So if you panic and make dumb moves in the middle of the game, that's why, Dave Roberts should get a lot of credit for the way he manages that ball club, because if you panic at any point and don't trust the system as they have it, which is kind of a modified Billy Beane approach, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The same thing that the Red Sox used in the mid-2000s when they were winning World Series. If you get a gut feeling and do something wrong, then you can fuck that whole system up, right?
Yeah.
I just look at right now the Yankees don't even have for this whole stretch they haven't had Gleyber Torres in the lineup,
Nope.
right? So he comes back. This Velasquez kid is smooth as silk at shortstop. I loved watching him field ground balls and make plays. He's really good. He reminded me, the way he moves reminded me of Andrelton Simmons. Unfortunately, will never have the offensive capability to be a starter anywhere on a team like the Yankees for sure.
Yeah.
But when Torres comes back, you're looking at a lineup that's like DJ LeMahieu.
When DJ LeMahieu and Gary Sanchez are potentially your 2 shittiest hitters.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying. When these guys come back, and I don't know if Sanchez is going to be back this year. Is he?
Oh, he might not be.
I'm not sure. But even if he's not, then you have LeMahieu, Rizzo, Judge, Stanton. Runa Odor has been playing third base pretty well for them lately.
Yeah.
But we'll see about that. And then Voit, and then Gleyber Torres, and then maybe Sanchez if he comes back. That's not only is there no out in that lineup, every single person that comes up to the plate is a legit home run threat.
Yeah.
It's like playing a fucking video game at that point.
Yeah.
And when I guess it's a good thing for the league that the Yankees probably won't get home field advantage in any of these unless they go on a real tear.
Yeah.
Not that fucking 11 games in a row is a real tear, but I mean, like actually come back and take the division lead.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll see them. I don't think you'll see that as a problem. But man, that lineup, even in Houston, is going to be a fucking problem. Any of these offensive-friendly ballparks, you put them in there, and you don't know what's going to happen, man. It's just like fucking. I would love to see that as the fucking LCS, to be honest.
It's really funny because right now the way it shakes out, the American League playoffs are going to be a straight up like titanic bloodbath. Like, is it Titan against Titan, right? Like just fucking heavyweight fight against heavyweight fight. And then the National League is just going to be like, it's going to be exciting potentially just because it's chaotic, just because all of the teams are deeply flawed, except the Dodgers and the Giants. And they won't. And the Dodgers and Giants would probably have to play each other in the division series.
Yeah, probably. Right now, let's see, who would it be?
In the NL, it would be the Dodgers and the Giants, assuming the Dodgers beat the Reds in the fucking wild card game.
Yeah, you're right. Because it goes back to total wins after that first round, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Or is it winner of the play-in game plays?
Winner of the play-in game plays the team
1.
with the best record.
Right.
Yeah. So the Giants would catch the Dodgers because that puts the play-in game teams at a huge disadvantage because they got to burn their number 1.
That scenario, the Braves are playing the Brewers, which seems likely at this point because you got to think
Brewers aren't catching the Giants or Dodgers.
Certainly not. Look, they're only 4 games behind the goddamn Giants right now.
Yeah.
Which is insane, but I don't think that'll persist. I think that's probably a good bet, right? The Braves versus Brewers. We can talk about that matchup later on.
Yeah, once we get I don't want to jinx the Braves here yet.
That's not a thing. So
I don't want God to punish me for talking about the Braves too much. Speaking of God punishing people, let's talk about someone who is really mean. He's super mean.
You're talking about Tony La Russa.
Yeah.
Is he mean?
He's
people keep saying that. I don't understand why people have a problem with him disciplining younger players.
Well, it's just mean to do that if you're an old guy that bloggers don't like, I guess. I don't know. Like, that's pretty much what it is at this point. For those who don't know, if you didn't catch it on social media, Hall of Fame manager and man who accidentally aged himself into being evil, Tony La Russa, is drawing heat again for getting mad at one of his players. By the way, of all the things to shit on Tony La Russa for, being like a stickler, being like a little bit of a disciplinarian, he's not even like, he was not ever known as like a hard ass.
Not as a yeller, anyways.
Yeah.
Like he may have been rigid in the same way that Nick Saban is. I think that would be a more appropriate way to categorize him, but not like fucking throwing shit and yelling and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like not abusive,
Right.
I guess, is what I meant to say.
And by the way, whoever ever writes about Nick Saban being an asshole when he yells at a player?
No one. I mean, which is funny because he's primarily talking to young black men.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So you would think if it was going to become an issue, that would be one of them. He's maybe it's just because of how good he is. Maybe he's demonstrated that he actually gives a fuck about the kids over the years. I don't know, but Tony La Russa is one of the best managers in the history of baseball, if not the best manager. You can make an argument for it. He's one of only two managers to win in a World Series in both leagues. Sparky Anderson is the other one.
Okay.
I think he won 2 of the Reds, 1 with the Tigers, if I'm not mistaken. Only 2 in history. He's won totally a fuckload of games, right? Is very well respected by his peers and colleagues. I don't know how many total World Series he's won. He won 1 with Oakland. And
2 with the Cardinals.
2 with the Cardinals.
Yeah. And it's funny that people, so there's 2 things that people try to kind of put on him. One thing they have overtly put on him is that he's out of touch with the game.
He's 76 years old.
But he's also known as like one of the best baseball minds and most innovative managers in the history of baseball.
Right. I mean, I'm sure there's an expiration date on that, but it's hard to say that when your team's in first place, isn't it? Like, how can you make that statement when your team is in first place?
Right.
When one of your primary, Eloy Jimenez has been out the entire year. Now, he's back now, but this team looked a lot different. A lot of people in mid to late March after he got hurt were like, I don't know what's going to happen with the White Sox this year. Well, you saw what happened. They're one of the best teams in fucking baseball. And then you get, even if it's in spite of him, you can't make the claims that his abusive behavior is fucking people up on the field because the results don't bear that out.
And he's not being abusive.
No, of course not.
Which is, so here's the stage. Here's what happened, how Tony La Russa got in trouble in the sort of, and look, a lot of this is really just because people need something to write about every day. And Tony La Russa is a convenient villain because he's a 76-year-old white guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, he's had some run-ins.
Look, no, I'm not saying Tony La Russa is like a great person. If anything, of all the things to shit on him for, though, like, you're making spurious claims. It's kind of like the Mike Richards thing where they like, for whatever reason, every single Mike Richards thing I read, at least like headline-wise or tweet-wise, led with him making offensive jokes on his podcast when it was actually super fucked up the way he tried to sabotage the Jeopardy hosting situation.
Yeah.
That was the fucked up part. Him making like clumsy jokes on a podcast I assume no one was listening to.
Yeah, who cares?
That has nothing to do with anything. What has to do with Mike Richards being a piece of shit is like his corporate subterfuge where he was like kneecapping LeVar Burton's chances at getting it.
Yeah.
And like...
He was trying to use the Hornberger principle.
Which
right?
one? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
More or less. Which is, if you don't know what that is, watch 30 Rock, bitch. But yeah, you end up with a dude with a weird dick.
Yeah.
Always, right? If you try to do that shit. It's the forest for the trees for sure.
There's plenty of things to shit on La Russa for. The fact that he's like such a horrifyingly bad drunk driver that he's falling asleep at the wheel and shit like that. I don't think his baseball is so much in question, though. His baseball. And here's what pisses me off, by the way, before we get into this. I was going to leave this for the end, but I'll just say it now. I don't want to defend him, all right? I have spent years of my life, and it's beyond dispute now that La Russa is better, but I've spent years of my life arguing that Bobby Cox was the better manager and shitting on Tony La Russa. I have never had an affinity for Tony La Russa. I have never been a fan of him. He's been annoying to me just as a fan of a opposing National League team that had to butt up against the Cardinals a lot. I don't want to defend him. I don't really like Tony La Russa. I don't care. And I'm being like fucking forced to defend him because the people attacking him are so goddamn lame that I don't know what else to do. Like, stop making me... I feel like that's half my life at this point is...
Yeah, it sucks.
Stop making me defend people I don't even want to defend.
That's the way it is, though, now.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to do? But you can't really criticize his on-the-field behavior. I don't think, unless your premise is that, maybe he's winning, but he's somehow like creating a social or moral injury in these people somehow,
which the players have not attested to at all.
Yeah, I mean,
they've said the opposite.
He seems relatively well liked by the players. I don't think he was very well liked by Jose Canseco, but that's because Jose Canseco was Manny Ramirez before Manny Ramirez was Manny Ramirez.
Right.
Just a fucking goofball that's doing dumb shit all the time, and you're trying to run a professional organization, and you're like, hey, dude, can you shut the fuck up and play baseball, please? Yeah. Nobody else. I've never heard of anybody else from that Oakland team in the '80s be super critical of Tony La Russa.
I can tell you that Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina seem fine with him.
Yeah.
As far as I fucking know. But so here's the situation where La Russa got in trouble recently. You can look it up on Twitter or whatever of him like freaking out on the bench. To the bottom of the sixth, there's 2 out, a man on second. The AL MVP contender in Vlad Jr. Guerrero is up for the Blue Jays.
Right.
White Sox starter Lance Lynn, Cy Young contender in his own right, clinging to a 1-0 lead against a dangerous Toronto team. 1-0 against that team. La Russa apparently wanted to. It was 3 balls, no strikes. La Russa just wanted to throw around him at this point. 3-0 count. Wanted to throw around him, and catcher Sebi Zavala and Lance Lynn decided that they wanted to try and nibble a little bit instead, see if they could steal a strike on the outside corner.
Goose Gossage made that mistake one time. Kirk Gibson rocked his ass.
Oh, no, that wasn't Goose. That was Eckersley. Kirk Gibson?
Oh, no, I'm not thinking about the Gibson home run. Who am I thinking of? Goose Gossage did this one time. Was it Reggie Jackson? He said he wanted to pitch to him, and he hit that home run in the World Series?
Yeah,
Maybe
probably.
that was it.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, continue.
So they tried to nibble, tried to steal a strike on the outside corner. Lynn missed his spot, put it over the middle. They're lucky that Vlad only hit a single, but he did. And La Russa, that's when you can see the video of him just blowing the fuck up in the dugout, yelling at his cat. And then when Sebi Zavala came in at the end of the half inning, he's yelling at him more. For what it's worth, after the game, Lynn took credit for the pitch selection. Lynn said that he was the one that basically called that or shook it off until he got that because he wanted to try and nibble. Granted, Zavala is a young catcher. Lynn's a veteran and having a great year.
Yeah.
So that checks out. Also could be Lynn protecting his catcher. Could go either way on that. However, the White Sox lost the game 2-1. So they lost the game by a run. That play gave up a run. The White Sox, if you don't fucking know, by the way, are only 5 games out for home field advantage in the AL. So there's still something to play for them. Yeah,
and that certainly they're not even finished in the Central. I don't think. I mean,
no, they are. I mean, they're 10 games up on the Indians.
They are, but you never know, right? I mean, why you can't take that chance until you hit your fucking number. And yeah, that strategy is bad. I mean, I guess we can discuss the strategy being bad. I don't know if that really even matters. But when you talk about this caliber of hitter and a 3-0 count, their batting average, not their OPS or not. I'm sorry, not their on base. Doing, man. What is the scenario where that makes sense? And I think that's probably, well, it's not probably, it's certainly why La Russa was so mad, because I think he's as mad about that as you get about people not having good base running fundamentals, because so many games are lost or so many players are injured from stupid shit on the base paths.
Yeah.
And how afraid of you of Teoscar Hernandez in relation to Vlad Guerrero Jr., right? If your guy's already in the stretch, does it really matter at that point?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, that's a stupid play. And
also, La Russa's not saying, as far as I know, in that moment, La Russa wasn't saying definitely throw him a ball, right?
Right.
He was saying throw him a breaking ball.
Yeah.
If you're going to try to get him to, if you're going to try to steal a strike, throw him a breaking ball that he might be overeager to try and swing at.
Right, yeah. Don't throw anybody a straight fastball with fucking 3 balls.
Right.
That's not a good look. But yeah, I mean, maybe it is Lance Lynn stepping in there and taking some of the heat. I don't know. I mean, if he's the one that called the pitch, but still,
you have to think certainly like this wasn't Yadier Molina behind the plate, wasn't Travis Darno or someone. Like it's not. This is a very veteran pitcher who is a La Russa favorite, also by the way.
Yeah.
Like he played for the Cardinals too, and a young catcher. So it makes sense to me that Lynn shook it off, but it also would make sense to me that Lynn, was listening to his catcher as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know their relationship.
I don't either.
What I do know is that Tony La Russa doesn't blow up on people randomly for no reason.
You could probably count I am from St. Louis. I grew up watching Tony La Russa. All through college, like from 5th grade through college. I don't know how many times I've seen him do that in the dugout, but
not a lot. No.
Not a lot.
Not on players. Not even whether they're rookies or veterans. So, to be honest, when you take all of that into account, regardless of what Lance Lynn's contribution to this scenario happened to be, I think it's actually at least something of a compliment for La Russa to expect more out of that kid. You know what I mean? It shouldn't. I don't know that people should be looking at it as a negative thing because we don't yell at people we don't give a fuck about, right?
Right. You would think that, right? Like he wants him to know. It's not because he's like, "Fuck you, you kid," or you
I don't know.
Latino player or whatever the kind of shitty baseball media that reacted to this and shitty baseball fans that reacted. Also, maybe expect something out of like, I don't know, highly paid, privileged people that get to play a game for a living.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, he's 27. It's not like he's a 21-year-old rookie.
Yeah.
He's been playing baseball for a while. Now he's new to Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
But this isn't his first rodeo. To be honest, if you're a 27-year-old catcher that's just now made it to the big leagues, that means you spent some Bull Durham time, right? Like you've been a 25-year-old catcher in the minor leagues. That's not great. And it's not great for you, I guess, career advancement-wise. What it is great for, though, is you have a ton of experience working with people that are younger and less experienced than you. So that would make sense to me that La Russa would expect more out of this guy. As a matter of fact, that's probably why he's on the roster in the first place.
Yes.
Right? If you've got a team like the White Sox where you don't need to bring up another offensive weapon, and he's clearly not like a huge offensive weapon, you bring up a catcher like that, you're bringing him up for his – unless he's got a fucking can or something. And this guy is serviceable defensively, sure, but it's probably because of the way he calls games if you have pitchers that you like.
Right.
Right? I mean, how long did Eddie Perez, who is otherwise useless as a human being, catch for Greg Maddux?
Years.
I mean, it's ridiculous, man.
Fucking years. I mean, and like, honestly, like, again, like, Sebi Zavala is making $570,000 a year.
Right.
Which is not a lot for a baseball player, but a lot for a human being.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Like, maybe like that isn't making enough money for me to expect someone to get screamed at for making like a basic ass mistake.
Yeah,
like
if you're
that.
making $500,000 a year, you should be held accountable for your performance, probably.
Right.
At any rate, let's do sponsors and then we'll get on with the rest. I'm tired of talking about La Russa because I don't really care for him either.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan, but it just, again, stop making me defend this man, you bastards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking tired of it. First up, we got, of course, MyBookie.
Yep.
MyBookie.com.
Now's the time.
Dude, it is. I've already put in my first fucking parlay for the year. Me and Delco Dan are doing our outside the top 25 show tomorrow.
Nice.
So we'll be diving in deep to the week 0 games, and those are all outside the top 25. Absolutely dog shit matchups, but it's going to be fun. I'm especially excited for Illinois and Nebraska just because it's two schools that should be fantastic at football, just persistently awful at it.
You're definitely the only person that said that you're excited for that game.
Yeah. Oh, I can't
Out
wait.
loud in front of other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait. But yeah, winning season is back at mybookie.com. It's time to get on the action. The first-time players can get started by doubling your first deposit, which gives you the firepower to add excitement to the games you love. College football odds boosts are on MyBookie, NFL lock of the season, and there are over $500,000 in contest prizes live on site to make this winning season your best ever with MyBookie.com. There's also an extra game of NFL gambling this year. It's an 18-week schedule, which means more money, more action than ever. You need a sportsbook casino that's reliable, and you won't find a better place than MyBookie.com. And I know
it's a great way to stay in shape.
It is, right?
Remember that from Family Guy? It's a great way to stay in shape.
No,
That guy? Gotta look it up.
And it's a great way to stay in shape.
Yeah, and it's a great way to stay in shape. Yeah, it's really funny. Get your money in. Bet against this. I mean, there's fights coming up too that you got to bet on. So
the Jake Paul's this weekend, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
I got plenty of money on that one.
I'm excited for that. I was actually really worried that the baby was going to come before, so I couldn't come here and get shit-faced and watch Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley. But we're inducing on the 1st, which means I get to get blackout drunk here and watch this.
Yeah, is this the last time you're going to do cocaine before your child is born?
Well, it would almost have to be, right?
Yeah, I just want video evidence of it for your wife.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Oh, boy. Good times. But yeah, you're going to bet this season, so do the smart thing. Sign up for MyBookie.com. Use our promo code DrinkinBros to get your first deposit matched dollar for dollar. You put in, $500, they'll give you $500. It's free money credited to your account instantly just for using the promo code DrinkinBros at MyBookie.com. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Next up, we got some Killcliff CBD.
Killcliff CBD is the best of all the drinkable CBDs that I've ever had. And the flavors are the best. The product itself, we love those guys. In addition to that, they've got the Ignite energy drink. It's clean energy, and they have a new flavor, Tequila Kiwi. It's Israel Adesanya's flavor. I'm told it goes really well with tequila. So if you're looking to fight a baby, maybe pick yourself up a 12-pack of this, dump it all in one giant bowl, fill that bowl with 2 or 3 bottles of tequila, drink some, and then see what that baby's about.
Dan wants to fight my baby. So
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah,
You're talking my language now.
Yeah. See, now I've got him hooked.
Yeah.
So your baby's about to get fucked up. Do you remember, no, we love Killcliff. Do you remember the Real Bros of Simi Valley? That scene where he tries to fight the baby or whatever. That's so goddamn funny. Anyways, yeah, Killcliff CBD. Go to killcliff.com. Use the promo code DrinkinBros. You get doll hairs off all of all their stuff there. The CBD, the energy drink, all of their dope ass merch, like this laser kitty. It's a kitty with laser eyes destroying a city.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, there we go. So you can see it right there. Look at that. Beautiful. All that stuff's on there. More to come soon. And then we got, obviously, ghostbed.com/drinkingbros. Everybody knows that.
What else do you want?
I mean, I don't know what the fuck you need in life other than a ghost bed, some Killcliff, and the ability to gamble from your phone.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And you lay in your ghost bed.
Yeah.
You slam Killcliffs.
So you're relaxed and you're making good decisions.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And then or until you're just hyped up enough.
Yeah, I mean,
that you can
go
bet it, that you don't care about what you're betting.
Drink the at night and the morning, get all hopped up and bet on stuff, and then when you need to calm down from losing all your own stuff, if you're Delco Dan, this is definitely a good thing. If you're chasing that fucking high and trying to bet, take the points for fucking Hawaii at the end of the night, maybe grab a Killcliff CBD and rethink those decisions, or do it. Who cares, man?
Fuck it.
You're not gonna live forever.
Yeah, but do it in your ghost bed.
Yeah, ghostbed.com/DrinkinBros. Get that shit.
They got 30% off with the code DrinkinBros. And I think they're still doing 40% off bundles as well, where you get the mattress, adjustable base.
Yep.
All that shit's got cooling technology. If you live in a hot place like we do, it is extremely clutch in the summer.
Indeed, it is.
It is goddamn fantastic. And honestly, even in the winter, I feel like it's like a weird situation where it gets too hot, like the heat gets too hot, and you need a little bit of the cooling on the sheets and everything. Because I crank the AC and I crank the heat. I don't care about Earth. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I don't care about it.
Yeah.
Shit, I've been anti-environment for years.
Yeah.
Look up, is it Jack England, Fuck the Earth Day, I believe. It's really funny. I think it's a Funny or Die thing from back in the day. It's super funny. I don't know why I'm just telling you to look at other stuff. But
Yeah. Go watch videos.
Yeah.
that other people made. Next up, I saw this question floating around recently. I wanted to toss it to you. We talked a little bit about this with like Molina a couple weeks ago, but because of the year he's having, people are kind of convinced now that Joey Votto is probably going to be a Hall of Famer. What do you think about that? So I'll go over some stats real quick. He's got 300 career home runs, 1,000 runs scored, 1,000 RBIs, 2,000 hits, and National League MVP, and a career 3-4-5 slash line, which means he's hitting over 300, on base percentage over 400, and he's like the GOAT. He's like the king of on base percentage,
right? Yeah.
Aside from Barry Bonds.
He's led the league in walks, I think 6 or 7 times. Yeah.
Yeah, he's insane. And then slugging over 500. That is extremely difficult to do, by the way. Not a lot of people. Mickey Mantle didn't even do that. And then 149 WRC plus, and he's crossed the 60 wins above replacement threshold, which is kind of the, you have to be an extremely special or unique player to get in
right
under that limit.
Right. Yeah. If you look at this, if you remove wins above replacement, if he ended his career today, it would be nearly identical to Derek Lee, except for Derek Lee didn't have as good a rate stats. So his batting average was more like 280 and not 300. His on-base percentage was more like 370 and not 400, right? Otherwise, 1,000 runs scored, 2,000 hits, 330 home runs, 1,078 RBI, and 874 walks, right? So the answer is no, right? I mean, if you look at that, in my opinion, I think that the answer is no. But that's not really how we do things anymore, right?
You don't think Joey Votto's all that? Wait, Derek Lee, the Cubs' former first baseman?
Yeah.
He's got 34 wins above replacement.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I said. Other than wins above replacement, his stats are extremely similar to Joey Votto. Now, Votto stayed healthy. He's been more efficient. He's also won multiple Gold Gloves, I think, right? Or just one, maybe. He's also a very good defensive player. You have to match up these guys. I mean, the way the Hall of Fame is supposed to work is that you look at the first base position, right?
Right.
And then how did Joey Votto stack up against the best first baseman of his generation? Because the top 5 or so from each position are basically a lock for the Hall of Fame, right?
I would say the top 3.
Well, maybe, right? But for first base, it's usually, I mean, it depends. Like catcher lags behind. It was weird. Like
actually, I think third base is the least represented position in the Hall of Fame.
It might be. But who were the other first basemen during Votto's career? Albert Pujols is one of them.
Yes.
He's not even in the same fucking ballpark as him.
No, not in the same.
He's more like Freddie Freeman has a similar career as him right now.
Another one to put in there would be Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah.
On the similar.
Maybe Paul Konerko. He was a little bit before that, but their careers overlap quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. He's got a couple years left, right? So if he pushes that home run total,
do you feel like there's any extra points or whatever the fuck for being elite
style
at
points
certain things?
At a specific thing, yeah, style points.
So like Ozzie Smith
he should not be in the Hall of Fame.
He's the greatest defensive shortstop, maybe player of all time.
Nonsense.
So you need a relatively perfectly rounded ball.
Bruce Bowen is not going to the Hall of Fame in the NBA, nor should he. But
it's a different sport.
No, it certainly is. But there's an offensive and defensive component that everybody is required to do, unless you're a DH, right? And they've had historically a hard time getting in as well. I mean, Edgar Martinez is really the only full-time DH to ever get in.
Yeah.
Bruce Bowen should get into the Basketball Hall of Fame. No, I'm just saying it's so fucking easy to get into the Basketball Hall of Fame because it's just a joke. Like Dwight Howard will end up being in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, like in the middle of his career, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't even have to be done yet for
it's
that.
Super
I'm just
easy.
saying if things were commensurate, he wouldn't be. Bruce Bowen isn't considered one of the best players of all time because he's a single-dimensional player, and I think that. Maybe if you considered Ozzie Smith's speed and base running capabilities, because he was very good at running, not just at being fast, but at running the bases as well. You can make an argument about that, but honestly, I don't see it, right? But you do make. I was thinking that same thing.
Votto's top 30 all time. That's all time.
Amongst first basemen or
No,
amongst all
no,
positions?
all hitters.
Okay.
If you're one of the top 30, that means he's one of the top 30 offensive players of all time. Now, granted, there's some noise in here because there's there's a lot of noise in here. Let me put it to, how many, what am I looking at here? Yeah, let me put a higher plate appearance on here. But I mean, like, he's top 30 all time. There's some weird ones on here, like, because the plate appearance is kind of low, but like Juan Soto's a top 30 all time too right now. So is Fernando Tatis Jr. But like the other guys on here, they're not fuck around guys. You got like Barry Bonds is fifth, Rogers Hornsby, Frank Robertson, Hank Aaron. Like these are all, if you wanted to change it to minimum, let's call it minimum 5,000 plate appearances, which a lot of those guys didn't meet. And Votto had about 8,000. Votto moves up to 25th all time in WRC plus.
I mean, I guess if you believe in that particular metric, that's a good argument.
I mean, that is as far as in my opinion, I would say WRC plus is probably the best collective metric.
But it only measures offensive output, right?
Yeah, but that's because I don't trust the analytics on defense.
Right.
Which is,
I would agree with that for sure. Yeah, I don't trust those either. I'm just looking through, like the top 10 for wins above replacement, just for over the last, how long has he been in the league? 12 years.
Votto played
years?
his first full season in 08.
Okay.
He had a cup of coffee in 07.
I'll go back to 08 then. So obviously Pujols is going to be on this list quite a bit. I'm looking for other first basemen that show up frequently on this top 10, even just the wins above replacement list, and I'm not seeing anybody that shows up year after year. Now, I'm not seeing Votto either, because he doesn't get any defensive credit. But I'm not seeing any standout first base. I guess Miguel Cabrera is probably up there too.
Miggy,
right? But he didn't play his entire career at first base either.
Well, he played all his useful career at first base. He did a little bit of third base with the Marlins and shit like that. Yeah.
Miguel Cabrera is probably the other guy. So now you're looking at Pujols and Miguel Cabrera at first base. Are you making the case, if your position is that it's going to be the top three, that it's Votto?
Miguel Cabrera, by the way, only 10 more wins above replacement than Votto.
Yeah. Yeah, he's had some injury problems the last 3 years.
He has, and Miguel Cabrera is only a year older than Votto. And Miguel Cabrera seems done, whereas Votto's having a resurgent season. He's not done.
No, he's looking pretty good. Yeah, so we'll see, right? I mean, he may be able to catch a good end to this season and 2 more mediocre years, and he'll catch him. Well, not mediocre, but mediocre for Votto's standard.
Right.
Yeah, he would catch him. I'm not seeing. I see Goldschmidt pop up here and there, but I don't see anybody other than those top 2. So maybe you're in a race between Paul Goldschmidt and Joey Votto right now to get in. I don't know who wins that. I mean, these things so often turn into fucking popularity contests.
100%.
It's so bizarre.
As someone who doesn't follow baseball super close, I still know that Joey Votto never strikes out, right?
Right.
Yep. Ever.
Yeah. He's not only is he good at not swinging and missing, he's good. So Bonds still struck out.
Yeah.
He walked a lot, but he struck. Even Muncy doesn't not strike out. He just doesn't strike out on bad pitches. You know what I mean? Ever. He does both. I mean, Votto is he might be one of the better contact hitters we've seen in the last decade.
Also, one of the best batting eyes we've ever seen.
He's not quite Tony Gwynn.
No.
Obviously, nobody will ever be Tony Gwynn,
Right.
but it's kind of up there, right?
I actually kind of get the vibe that if he wanted to be Tony Gwynn, he could be, but he's tasked with hitting home runs to an extent or hitting doubles, whereas Gwynn, it was, for whatever reason, they were like, yeah, Tony, just slap those base hits all day.
Yeah, nobody seemed to care. I mean, he had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tony Gwynn led the league in hits 7 times.
Yeah.
And he had 100 RBIs once.
Also, this is not really like a Hall of Fame statistic or anything, but I think it's worth noting that it was like a year or 2 ago. I think it was 2019, but it could have been 2020. For the first time in his career, Joey Votto popped up to first base.
That's really bizarre.
Yeah, because that's considered weak ass dog shit contact, and he just doesn't make that. But
Interesting.
I guess I can easily hear the argument that no, Votto doesn't belong at this moment.
I don't think Goldschmidt is. I'm just looking at his numbers.
He's
not on the same level. He's 2 years younger, but I don't think.
He's not.
He's 100 or not 100. He's like fucking 70 home runs behind in 2 years. He's not going to hit 35 in the next 2 years. He's on the decline. It looks like.
Very much so.
Freddie Freeman is going to go past Votto, I think, because he's been a middle of the order guy more, right? Because Votto has been a number 2 hitter for a big portion of his career as well. He wasn't always like a fucking middle of the order guy. He was a number 2 hitter for quite a while, right?
Yeah.
You're going to lose out on a lot of those fucking RBI stats and stuff like that.
Well, Freeman's also got a solid 7 years left in his career.
Yeah. He's going to blow past these guys. So I would say if the standard is consistency for the Hall of Fame, right? I mean, people have had Roger Maris had a great year, but he's not a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer because he broke the record, but he's not a He doesn't have a Hall of Fame career. He has a Hall of Fame year, and some guys have Hall of Fame level 3 to 5 year stretches, but they don't take it over this amount of time. Votto has been very good for a long time. He's been the best, I think, or at least one of the best at a very specific thing that in modern baseball and the analytics world is one of the most important things you can be the best at.
Right.
That's a pretty good argument for him making the Hall of Fame. I'll agree with that. I think maybe some of the old school writers would have a problem with that because them voting for him to get into the Hall of Fame is their acknowledgement of Bill James, and that is like a child. That's like the Hatfields and McCoys. The old baseball writers versus Bill James, they fucking hate each other. I don't understand why. You know what I mean? They're both right sometimes.
Yeah.
It's not, you can't go 100% analytics. You can't go 100% the other way. Like there's an art and a science to baseball like there is in any sport. You're not in competition with each other. What the fuck are you doing? But that's how it is. So I could see them voting no on him. We'll see what he does these next couple of years.
He's not done. And honestly, he's at this point, and I'll just say this because we're shameless Braves fans, it feels like he could do a sort of a late career kind of Chipper Jones thing. Because if you remember Chipper Jones, it was like, oh, he could be a Hall of Famer. And then his last couple of years, he really fucking cemented it because he had the batting title in like 08, 09, something like that. I think 08. And then just was like essentially pumping up his wins above replacement and WRC plus by kind of not caring about hitting home runs.
He got really efficient.
Yes.
And it showed you that, to be honest, if you had taken Chipper Jones and put him into this launch angle era, he may have been one of the top 5 hitters of all time, I think, because he had a little bit of that, and he had a very Ted Williams-like swing, which is a very slight uppercut, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure his dad taught him that from a fucking very young age, and it's a good thing for him because it generated the proper angles without him having to generate more power. But I think in today's baseball, where there's actual refinement behind that because of the data, you take a guy like that that's able to routinely hit 30 to 35 home runs and hit 300 every year, and that's going to obviously elevate his power numbers.
Yeah.
Because you could see, the reason I say all that is because when he stopped caring about having to generate more torque, he could hit the ball better, and he could take those swings that he was taking from age 35 to 38 or whatever. He could take those swings and still hit home runs in today's environment. And I think maybe we're talking about a whole different thing. Not that was ever in any danger of not making the Hall of Fame. Right.
He wasn't in ever danger, but
as a switch hitter, he's the second best switch hitter ever.
He went from he could be like a type of borderline guy to, because of his late career efficiency, and it really was the efficiency that did it, to cementing his place in the Hall of Fame.
It made sure his rate stats stayed attractive.
Right. And sure. One thing you can't underestimate, by the way, if you are an old school baseball guy and not a wins above replacement guy, is the Votto slash line.
Yeah,
which is a 3-4-5.
Yeah, that's impressive. I mean, for a career, that's ridiculous.
Insane. No one does that. I mean, it's hyper difficult to do that.
I mean, Chipper Jones did it. 303 career average, 401 on base percentage, 529 slugging. So, I mean, in that way, that's That's pretty good, right? I mean, that's
pretty fucking good.
And Votto also has an MVP award.
Yeah.
That makes a difference.
But,
winning a season-long award, whether it's a Cy Young or MVP, not a Gold Glove and all that bullshit, but like if you win Rookie of the Year, if you win, those are all fucking things that go on your resume. I think he's.
But like, just like listen to here's another two guys who didn't do 3, 4, 5.
Right.
Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio.
Well, they both got injured about 2/3 of the way through their career and struggled through the last part, right? So their rate stats were never going to stay steady.
Votto's had injuries. Chipper had injuries.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it is what it's not the same medicine.
Chipper had one of the best. Other than that Pujols 10 years run, I think Chipper may have had the best 10-year run ever. It would have been Ted Williams, but World War II happened and he had to go murder some Japanese folks, apparently.
Then he wanted more blood and went back to Korea.
Korea, yeah. Although I think he was just an advisor in Korea or something, some shit like that. Hold on. Chipper Jones from 96, the year after they won the World Series, until, what year is it here? Until 2003, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Over this 8-year period, his average season was 110 runs, 181 hits, 32 home runs, 107 RBI, 97 walks, 313 batting average, 410 on base, and 551. Now that's a pretty good decade right there.
Not bad.
Still not as good as Pujols. I don't think anybody will ever put up a 10-year stretch like that again because so many things, you have to stay healthy for 10 straight years without an interruption, first of all.
It was
and
actually
you have to be that great.
Pujols' first 10 years eclipsed Trout's.
I think it's way better, yeah.
No, on every statistic, Pujols beat.
For sure.
People fucking forget, man. Like that, he was terrifying.
Yeah.
He was he's just up at bat, and you're just like, please God, let it be a double.
Yeah. He's let's look at that 10-year stretch. So
he was. I remember my Cardinal fan friends, which is all of my friends, being like, I had no rebuttal to it at that, and it was really annoying. Because I was just like, yeah, I don't. Because I was like growing up with Chipper and Maddox, and I was just like, yeah, dude, I got the best players ever. Then Pujols comes up, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know what to tell.
Listen to these numbers. So this is his first 10 years in baseball. This is his average season, not per 162 game. This is his average season, right? 119 runs per year for 10 years.
Yeah. And he, by the way, for the first 3 years, not that great of an offense.
No, their offense was terrible. 190 hits per year, 43 doubles per year, 41 home runs per year, 123 RBI per year, 91 walks, which is pretty good, 65 strikeouts, 41 home runs and 65 strikeouts were his average for 10 years, where he was hitting 331 with a 426 on-base percentage and a 624 slugging, OPS of over 1. No one will ever do 10 years like that again, I don't think. And if they do, they probably won't win a Rookie of the Year and 3 MVPs when they're doing it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's a lot of people are talking now about how, I don't think this is in our notes for today, but people are like, the Cardinals really should have signed Albert Pujols. Like
they should have just.
They kind of owed it to him to sign. I'm like, he's in a pennant race now. Maybe that's better for him.
Yeah.
But I don't think he would have cared, to be honest. He's won his World Series. He's won his MVPs. I think
he's in.
I think spending the last part of this year and then next year with Molina would have been a great thing for him. Maybe he comes back next year.
I think he might come back next year because he is.
Just to do a farewell tour with Molina, maybe?
Dude, he might. And honestly.
Because Molina announced this week that he's done after next season. He's going to come back for his, 19th season with the Cardinals?
Yeah.
19 seasons for a catcher, by the way, is fucking ridiculous.
All at catcher. It's insane.
Like he and Pudge Rodriguez are the only two people I can think of that caught that long.
I mean, also, by the way, I don't know how good the Cardinals are going to be next year. They might be pretty mediocre. Pujols is 3 home runs away from 680.
Yeah.
Let him take every at-bat as just a full-on uppercut and let him get to 700 in a Cardinals uniform. I have watched this city not give a shit about anything other than a player hitting home runs before.
Yeah.
The Cardinals were not good when Mark McGwire made that home run. It was in the home run chase in 98.
Yeah.
All anyone cared about was him hitting home runs. Just let Pujols come back. Hope he hits another 3 home runs this year. And then all he's got to do is hit 20 home runs. Let him have like as many at-bats as his body will let him have. And just every fucking at-bat, just throw the barrel of the bat fully upwards, try to hit a home run.
I would like to see that. Yeah, they were 19 games out of first place. And the Cubs were 12 and a half out of first place.
The Cubs won the wild card that year, by the way.
Yeah, they did. that was man, a lot of weird shit happened. And 99 especially. Wasn't 99 when Sammy Sosa had that corked bat thing? It was a year after this, right? Or was it?
It was
2000?
a year or two. I don't remember.
I don't remember. Anyways, yeah, they really should have brought Pujols back, and I don't understand why they didn't. We'll see on Votto. I think he'll probably get in.
So
if he finishes his career with 3, 4, 5, how do you keep him out?
2003 was the cork bat.
Oh, it's it was that long.
Damn.
Because people forget about that shit.
Yeah.
Sammy Sosa hit 60 home runs like 2 more times after that, right?
Yes.
So he had like 3 60 home run seasons over the course of like 5 years or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Nobody,
even during that year, everybody's like looking around like, do you guys see what's happening here? No one didn't know what the fuck was happening.
Everyone fucking knew.
Now, this is a really interesting way to close out the show because ESPN's been doing this recently too. I don't know where this particular story came from.
It's ESPN.
It is ESPN. They've with what's the one Draymond Green did? Disrupted or whatever the fuck? Not Disrupted. What is it called? I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name of the segment that he was doing where it was articles on ESPN, but bringing players in to talk about shit and seeing what they think about things, I think is really interesting. About a month ago, I think they asked what you would change about the rule changes or whatever the fuck.
You were commissioner for a day.
Yeah. So now this is what this is. What would you do if you were commissioner for a day? Justin Turner said what I think I would hope that everybody except for fucking bored or selfish pitchers would say, which is that I don't want. He said I would go to a DH in both leagues for health aspects, keeping our pitchers on the mound. Also, as an older player, it would probably benefit me a little bit. So he was honest about that.
Might be why the Cardinals would wait a year to sign Albert Pujols.
Yeah, maybe.
Because the DH would come in next year because they're negotiating this offseason, I believe, right?
I think that I believe it will be a DH in both leagues this year.
So I think they might wait, let Pujols DH it out, and just be like, hey, man, just go, uppercut it, swing, whatever.
I would add Hills to the outfield.
Back to the outfield?
Yeah.
I'm not into that one.
No.
No.
What about, do you like that little hill that Houston had?
In Minute Maid, in Enron?
Oh, yeah, that was not great.
I feel like that almost killed Andrew Jones twice.
Yeah.
I like Sebi Zavala's suggestion, which we have said multiple times, which is make these games fucking fun in the stands.
An event of some sort would be good. Now, what he said was he wants to make it like the Dominican where there's music and crazy shit going on all over the place. There's 162 games in a Major League Baseball season. In Venezuela, it's in the Dominican, I think it's like 60 in their professional season.
Right.
Big difference there,
Yeah.
right? And also, big difference in culture. I guess it depends on where the stadium is you're talking about, but I very much doubt that there's going to be a big dance party in Minneapolis, for example, right? Not that it needs to be. I know he's just saying make it more entertaining, though.
Right. There's not going to be that. I do kind of like, so they're like live music and stuff like that going on. You could easily do that in a way. I mean, at first I saw that and I was like, how are you going to do that? But then I remembered actually that literally every college football game has live music.
Yeah, well, kind of. It's a fucking marching band.
Yeah, but I mean, just get some shit in there like that. Get some fucking.
I would rather have a marching band at baseball and professional football games than fucking cheerleaders. That shit doesn't make any sense, dude. If I want to look at girls, I could just go on fucking Pornhub or some shit. God damn it. I'm here to watch football. Make it, even when I go to basketball games, remember that, there's this Chinese lady that rides a unicycle and throws plates on her head or some stupid shit like
Red
that.
Panda.
Yeah,
Red Panda.
Yeah, I've seen her at Staples Center. I've seen her at the Warriors Stadium.
The best.
I've seen her all
Dude,
over.
She's done Mizzou basketball games. She goes everywhere.
I saw her in Milwaukee one time. Like, I've seen her all over the country. I don't need to see that. That has nothing to do with what's happening here.
Yeah.
Right? But it is kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
I guess.
You're watching greatness.
Oh, God.
I do think it would be.
Bring out a giant swimming pool and make Michael Phelps swim for my pleasure. Right? That's what I want.
It would be beneficial, and they do this a little bit already because they have like bars and shit in the stadiums or whatever. They really should cordon off like family section, party section, right?
Yeah, for sure.
They unofficially do that with the bleachers and
Right.
stuff like that. But I think they really should make it more official. Like, this is bring your Tinder date to this part of the stadium.
Right.
Bring your kids to this part of the stadium. Bring your, Tinder dates and your fucking bachelor parties and bros come out to the bleachers, go fucking wild.
Yeah.
And then like the kids can eat a pretzel and like cheer for their people like behind the fucking plate and the dugouts and shit like that.
I agree. I mean, definitely you have to do something to liven. I think it would have both effects. You have to do something to make the game itself more exciting for the people attending it, right? But also you want to make where you make most of your money, which is your television broadcast, more exciting as well.
Yes.
So, I mean, one thing would feed into the other for sure. I think miking the players up as well on some sort of a delay maybe. Or, I mean, look, if you have it's always going to be a danger, but maybe players opt into it. Maybe it's like a pay-per-view service where profanity doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So instead of heck and darn from Freddie Freeman, he's really getting after it. Because Mike Trout talks a lot of shit, apparently. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why I didn't know that before I started seeing it on social media. I should have been seeing that on broadcast all the time.
But is he talking heck darn shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very friendly.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, who's that quarterback with 17 kids?
Phillip Rivers.
Phillip Rivers, yeah. It's like his shit talking, like, hey, I'm going to get you, man. Hey, you fell down. Like, it's just very
But Phillip Rivers is an actual asshole who just, doesn't cut. Like, he'll run up into another player's ear and be like, doggone it, we beat you!
Yeah, it's stupid. The next suggestion was from Cedric Mullins. He said 500-foot home run should count for 2 runs. He also said they should get 4 strikes. That's ridiculous.
I don't agree with the 4 strikes, but I don't hate
that, and I don't hate a 4-point shot in the NBA either.
Yeah.
Like, fucking throw a little chaos in there and see what happens. Make any shot from beyond the logo worth 4 points, right, in basketball. And that includes, by the way, heaves from all the way down court, which means you have to defend that shot.
Right.
Even if you're up by 3 fucking points, or even if you're up by 4, if you want to win the game, if you don't want it to tie, you still have to defend a crazy shot like that. Remember that shot that Steph Curry came down the left side of the court, and he shot from about 38 feet and drilled it to win. I think it was against Oklahoma, right? Oklahoma State?
Dame did that against Paul George.
Yeah, Dame did it against Paul George, too. That's exciting as fuck, dude. Make that part of the game that you actually have to defend. Now you've got my interest again. I think that's a good idea. 500-foot home runs counting for 2 runs.
Do you want to go all the way to 500? Because there's only been, I think, maybe a dozen 450-foot home runs.
Yeah, I mean, maybe 450 is more apropos. I don't know. It depends on the year and how Major League Baseball is lying about what's inside the baseball, right? Who knows? Next one is Trevor Rogers. He says he likes the runner at second base in extra innings. He would keep it. I think that's ridiculous.
I actually agree with him. And I've said this before on this fucking show, dude. Extra innings fucking suck in the regular season.
Right.
They're fucking awful.
I just think that if you want to start with a base runner, put him at first base. You have to execute small ball or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you said this, and I think someone is doing in the minor leagues. The best option is a home run derby.
You should absolutely do a home run derby.
Yes.
Because then you're going to see guys that, like Sal Perez, for example, if he wasn't a catcher, if he was a third baseman, he would be on a major league team because he can hit that many home runs, but he wouldn't be hitting in the 4, 5, 6 position or 3, 4, 5, 6. He'd probably be a 7th hitter, right? Yeah. Because his defense is what it is. His defense wouldn't play as big of a role. And it's aberrant for a catcher to be hit that well. So to say a guy that only hits home runs, Jorge Soler maybe. Mm-hmm. Maybe you have him on your roster just in case. Instead of a guy that's really good at pinch hitting, you have a guy that's really good at hitting batting practice fastballs out of ballparks.
Right.
Like you get DeChambeau to be your fucking long driver, even though I know don't fucking start. I know he's not great at it.
Yeah.
That would make a lot more sense to me. I understand.
You obviously don't do it for the playoffs.
There's two problems here. One is that the game has to come to some fucking conclusion because baseball is not going to allow ties. That's just not going to happen.
No.
Right? So you have to come to some kind of conclusion, and you don't want to run through your entire fucking bullpen in one game.
Right.
So the solution is obvious. You take the pitcher out of the equation, and why not do the home run derby?
And people felt the same way about shootouts in hockey.
Yeah, people love fucking shootouts in hockey, man.
Right.
That was a way better solution than ending games with a tie.
Right. Well, and purists though felt like, ties are better. But fuck the purists.
Those are people who like soccer, and those aren't people at all. Georgia, you want to comment on that?
I'm good.
Recognizes that he's not a person, but moves on with his life. Yeah. That's a very respectable thing to do.
But if we're not going to do the home run derby, which I'm fully in favor of, keep the runner at second base because I just can't fucking take it a 14-inning game. The extra innings make me want to die after the 11th. I've sat through multiple 18-inning games and I just can't fucking do it, including that playoff one with the Braves in 05. I just can't fucking do it.
Yeah, maybe if you after 10 innings you go to a home run derby.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I wouldn't make it 11. That's 2 more innings, right?
Yeah.
That's at least 1 pitcher, maybe 2. 1 inning you should be able to get through with 1 pitcher. If things go well and you don't lose, you should be able to get through that inning with 1 pitcher. I think that's fair.
I would also, if it really keeps going to extra so much, maybe have pitchers who can pitch more than 1 fucking inning.
Yeah. Or go to this idea that I have of bullpen only. I've thought this since the 90s, that why would you want a pitcher that can only go 7 innings once a week when you could have 12 or 13 pitchers who would go 3 to 4 innings any day of the week?
Well, if you get rid of the rotation, then it's like 17, right? Isn't your bullpen like 9 guys? So then your rotations, I'm sorry, so it'd be like 14, I guess.
Rosters are different now. It used to be a 25-man roster, and the teams would have either 12 or either 13 pitchers or 13 hitters. It would be one of the two. Now it's different. I think there's a bigger roster this year because of COVID. I don't know if that's going to persist in the future, but
it's just 26.
Definitely, it's only 26. So yeah, you would be 13 and 13 or 14 and 12 at that point. Which, look, with 14 guys, 30% of whom would be assigned to each game, right?
Yeah.
And then you have spillage. Like there's going to be dudes have bad days, but you're also going to have overperformance on some days where a guy goes longer, right? So I'd like a guy like Urias on the Dodgers or May, who was also that ginger guy.
Yeah.
People that are fucking generalists when it comes to pitching that is much more exciting to me. Now I would miss out on watching a starting pitcher throw a shutout for sure. But how many times do you see that anymore? That is gone. Like when some guy throws a shutout now, to me it feels like a no-hitter. A
9-inning shutout.
9-inning shutout. Right?
It's insane.
Nolan Ryan had 63 of them, I believe, in his career. Right? Quite a few. I would say there probably isn't an active pitcher other than Verlander that has more than 10.
Wainwright and DeGrom, maybe not DeGrom. Wainwright might. Wainwright's had 2 this year. That'd be the only one.
Let me look up list of Major League career shutouts. Let's see here. Don Drysdale had a bunch. Show me the fucking baseball reference page, bitch. That's the one. That's always the one. They do pretty good stat keeping over there, but they don't have WRC, so.
That's a Fangraph stat. I think they do WOBA. They do weighted on something weird like that. I don't remember. Whatever.
Walter Johnson had 110 shutouts.
Yeah, that'll do.
It was a different kind of ball game back then. All right, I'm looking for active dudes on here are bold, right, on baseball reference.
Yeah.
Let's see. Looking for bold.
My guess would be Wainwright would be the only one even close to that.
Looking for bold.
And whoever the fuck maybe Kershaw too. Those would be the only 2 where I could see it being.
Yeah, Kershaw's got 15 in his career, so that's a good call. Definitely Kershaw.
I think Wainwright's got to be over 10. If it's not,
that's 15 and 14 years, by the way.
Yeah, right. So 1 a year
Kershaw.
he averages.
Irvin Santana's got 11.
Dirty Irv.
Yeah, imagine that. Wainwright's at 11 as well.
Okay.
But those are over 17-year careers
right.
each. So the only active pitchers that have over 10 have averaged about 1 a year. So that feels different to me. I remember the Maddox that's gone, dude.
Well, Wainwright just threw one.
Yeah, he threw one. You see that, and it's like a fucking
yeah.
And people forget that Greg Maddox did that shit during the steroid era.
Yeah.
So
and during the put the ball in play era also.
Yeah. The point of all that is, one, what we know is that starting pitchers, by and large, the vast majority of them at least, aren't going more than 6 innings in ball games.
No.
So why do we still have the roster compositions that we do? Why aren't teams developing dudes straight out of the minor leagues to become closers and then just have closer A, B, and C? At a minimum, if not just running a full bullpen game every single time. It's way more efficient.
Well, you wouldn't. I guess the starter would be. It wouldn't be like a starter, but it would be like you're going to mow through. Everyone's going to do one way through the lineup, right? 3 innings.
Yep. That would be optimal, yes.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what it would be. So you wouldn't necessarily want a guy you don't want 9 guys going 1 inning every day.
No, for sure. No, because there's too much room for error there.
Right.
No, certainly not. I would say 2 to 3 innings. Treat it like an all-star game.
Yeah, you want like 2 3-inning killers.
Yeah. And to be honest, if you're a Major League Baseball organization, what you've done is called risk spreading, right? So you spread your risk over a greater amount of surface area, which means you now have the same total amount of risk, but the probability of that risk actually coming to fruition is way less. And by doing such, you've distributed the talent, right, and thus the value over a greater space, which means you may be spending somewhere similar to the same in payroll, but probably not, because you don't have these individual starters that are making $40 million per year.
That's the thing. You're going to pay all those dudes way less.
Way less, because then there's no competition.
Right.
This is something that baseball should have done years ago. They have they were the first players union to get good at being a players union, and now they fucking dominate that sport.
Yeah.
Honestly, and it's not good. You've seen it. The work stoppages and stuff like that, and the overinflated back end salaries and shit like that has been bad for baseball. Honestly, I would love to see this happen.
Someone will do it. Probably the Rays.
Yeah, maybe if Joe Madden goes back there.
Overrated.
I know, but he's just crazy. He'll do anything.
He is crazy. He will fucking do it.
Just
anything.
One team. Why don't the Pirates do it? They're not going to win shit anyways. Right? Just fucking
why play your hand when you only have 2 chips left? Right?
I don't know. I mean, what the fuck else are you going to do?
I guess just wait till you can get
If you're the Pirates, you get 2 more chips next year for free.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're a low market team, so who cares?
Yeah, that's true.
And it's not like the Pirates are expecting to win. I mean, is Clint Hurdle still there? I don't even know who the manager is. Who's the manager of the fucking Pirates? Does anybody know?
Pirates manager is Derek Shelton, who came from the Rays, by the way.
Who?
Derek Shelton.
Was he like their pitching coach or bench coach?
He was a coach for the Rays before. That's all I know.
Okay. I mean,
the third Google result for that is, what disease does Clint Hurdle's daughter have?
Oh, well, R.I.P. I guess, or whatever. Hopefully she's okay. Jesus Christ.
It doesn't seem like it. So prayers for Clint Hurdle's daughter.
Yeah, damn.
That is actually really tragic. But yeah, Derek Shelton is the current Pirates manager.
So, Mr. Shelton, be better than Blake.
He came from the Rays.
Yeah, that's why he's got the pedigree to do some weird shit. So get after it, dude. Just give it a shot. Give it a shot. And speaking of Madden, Shohei Ohtani should be a closer. Let's get real.
One of these days, he'll get weird enough to do it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yep.
All right. See you guys fucking later. Subscribe. You know the drill.